Dave Lockwood with Remove It Pros Demolition. This is Adam Carson with Suncoast Metals, okay? And we're gonna go behind the scenes here. He's gonna tell us a little bit about what the type of metals are, what the street name of them is, and what makes them clean and what makes them dirty.
Bright and shiny or bare bright, W or number 2 wire. Automotive harness wire, grease wire, or jelly wire, as you just found out by touching it.
So is there a chance we can go into that one room there with all the bins in it?
Let's take a look.
All right, let's do it.
So this bin right here is what we call a number 2 copper. If you look at it, it has little pieces of fittings on it, things that have been soldered together, maybe a couple pieces of brass for parts that were on whatever part of equipment it might have been on before it was broken down. Anything with any kind of a paint or excessive tarnish. All those things are what we call a number 2 copper. This right here is lead. So a majority of the lead that comes through is obviously from roofing and stuff like that. When a lot of the roofs and the hurricanes come through, a lot of things need to be replaced.
What would make this clean and what would make it dirty?
Pretty much the only thing that's going to make the lead dirty is going to be have any kind of shingles or anything that might be on them that's left there that the roofer didn't clean off. This box here is going to be what you had for the number 1 copper. So this is the pieces they've cut that no longer has the fittings on it, no longer has the paint on it, has tarnish but has minimal tarnish on it.
So is this something you processed, or is it something the guys processed?
This particular box, I believe, was one that we purchased as is from another company.
This is lead again,
This is lead again, yes, sir.
You can kind of see there's lead or the same
Nope,
kind?
same thing. It's just someone took the time to fold it to make space. As you can see, these are the ones that have the pieces on them from the roof.
So that would be
around
dirty.
them. It is dirty, and we get a little bit of contamination allowance. This is what we call EC wire. It is aluminum wire, only aluminum. There is no ground wire in the middle, so there is nothing magnetic in this whatsoever. It is all just aluminum.
I see.
And it has its own special commodity. As most electric things have these days are going towards electric, it is becoming more and more common.
All right, so what is this back here?
That is wire.
It's just straight wire.
This is what we call number 2 ICW or number 2 wire. This has attachments attached to it, so it would get purchased at a lower grade because there is contamination on it. So this particular stuff here, it has multiple terms. In the communication industry, this is called coax cable. In recycling terms, it's called heliax. What it is, it's meant for like cell phone towers and such like that. They send their signal through it. It has an exterior of plastic, sheathing of copper, whether it's some sort of foam or ceramic, and then copper in the middle, but nothing else in it. Has
so what would that
on it.
come in at? Guessed
It varies anywhere from 80 to $1.25 a pound, give or take. Depends on who brings it in, quantity, etc.
Okay, cool.
Where the market sits.
Hey, what's up, young man?
Hey, how you
doing? All right.
Welcome back, man.
A lot of people ask me a lot of questions about this stuff. Compared to them, I know a lot, but I don't know anything compared to what you guys know.
Right.
And I can't believe how many people think this is really cool.
Yeah.
It's unbelievable.
It's fun.
So it's cool. And then, you know, bringing some light to recycling and then giving the guys a little bit of a hand up, learning how they can recycle this stuff and bring it in and get a little bit more money. I mean, it's probably good for you too that they recycle it better. So that's what we're trying to do.
Yeah, we're trying to educate all the customers because ultimately we want them to make the money because we make money. The more they clean it, the more they separate it.
Well, this will be a video you can do that with.
Absolutely.
And then I'm actually going to make a book on this, a booklet on it. I don't know how long it'll take. Might take me a couple years to do it, but we're pretty busy.
We'll be here.
All right. We got a load coming up. We got 2 box trucks
Taylor
and
said
a
he'd be
trailer.
here around 11:15, 11:30.
Okay, cool.
Yeah, you're doing a good, coming in at the right time.
Well, thank you for letting him do this. I appreciate it.
Yeah, no problem. All right, I'll see you guys. Thanks for coming in again.
All right. All right, so what is this here?
This is Automotive harness wire. It's not a very common recyclable item, but it does come in. There's not much that can be done with it. It just comes in as is, gets shipped as is.
Yeah.
Because it obviously has a lot of plastic on it.
So what do you bring it in at? Like,
honestly,
cents or something?
it's probably around there, maybe a little less. Like I said, it has a lot of contamination, so it doesn't have a high value, but it's
because
good
it takes so much to get it all freed up.
Correct.
Same thing with this?
This is similar. So I'm not sure if you were part of the conversation I had with Taylor or not, but this has good quality copper on the inside. The problem is this is steel on the outside, not aluminum. which is the worst possible commodity to have attached to the highest value commodity, which just kills value. So this is stuff that might have slipped through the cracks, got tossed in with other stuff that has a lower value and can't go out with the higher value item, so it has to get pulled out.
Okay. All right. So was this brought in just as number one?
No, it would have gotten purchased as either a low yield ICW or a number 2 ICW.
So still copper, but
Still
just
copper,
really low.
just a very low recovery, so a very low value.
Okay.
This box here is, by Florida statute, a restricted commodity. There's an underground wire. It's called grease wire or jelly wire, as you just found out by touching it. It has multiple strands in there.
So this is like public utility stuff. So most people
Public
can't bring
utilities
this in.
or contractor stuff.
So only the city can bring this in.
Any restricted commodity can be brought in by Joe Schmo, as long as they have legal and proper documentation of how they obtained it.
I see. Like a demo.
Like a demo job. So like if you go to pull it out of the ground or pull it out of a house and you want to give it to me, you're going to say on a letterhead, hey, you know, Remove It Pros gives Adam permission to scrap this that we came across on this demo, and you know, if there's other things that you're giving him as well, you would incorporate that. Otherwise, you'd list specifically just that and that alone, and that'll allow me to bring it in and sell it, and I can make money from it, and a contractor is not responsible for disposing of it or getting rid of it, because a lot of things take time.
And the idea is to prevent people from stealing utility stuff.
This is wire as well. The difference is a majority of this is probably like an irrigation wire. If you look at the inside, if you get the right kind of light, it has a tin coating on the interior of it.
Okay.
So it kind of has like a silver shimmer to it.
Yeah.
It's more or less an irrigation wire. So because of the tin coating on the copper, that is considered contaminated, so it's a number 2.
Interesting.
But it's a higher recovery than the regular. Correct.
Fold up like this, which means somebody just...
Which means that someone probably didn't need that much, because a lot of people will buy things in bulk to get a better price.
Yeah.
And then they don't need it anymore.
So they bring it in here.
You know? Or a lot of people, they'll unravel it to get it out, and then to suck the new stuff in to replace, they'll put it back on the same roll.
Oh, I see. So we already did, this is
aluminum BX cable, so it's the same concept as the other one, but because it has an aluminum jacket as opposed to a steel jacket, there is value in it. But it's not the same as just having the wire separate on the inside. So you can look on the inside and there's solid copper on the inside.
This right here is number 1.
That is number 1 insulated copper wire. That is good quality wire.
Okay, but it's taken down in value because somebody's got to take this apart. Somebody's got to pull it out.
Or when it goes through the chopper, like we said, now it has multiple commodities and it's separating, not just copper. It has to have a different kind of machine in order to do it. These are some of the plugs, like if you were pointing out the harness wire, or some of the computer wire you saw over there. These are some of the plugs that get chopped off the wire as they're cleaning it.
So what's valuable in this?
Pretty much nothing. There's a little bit of copper on the inside. Some of these big pieces on the inside, like the washer and dryer piece, does have like a transformer on the small side, even though it is small.
Yeah.
It is in there. But yeah, these kind of get put into a box and then shipped out. It's a higher value than steel. Yeah. But it's not a high enough value other than that.
So this will get put into a machine, they'll chop it up and everything gets separate?
There's someone somewhere that'll buy it there and send it through a machine, and exactly.
So what's going on back here?
So this is our number 2 insulated copper piles. The one on the right is stuff that still has the pieces attached to it like so. Yeah. And the one on the left is stuff that's been gone through that may have a little bit of stuff overlooked, but for the most part that's ready to process.
So that's got a higher value than this?
It's all the same value. It's just that's prepped. This isn't.
Okay. Cedar, a little candle. Look at that, $42 for that. And it's probably a penny.
Brass definitely has a higher value. This probably got snuck in by somebody over there, or got purchased at maybe just 1 pound of brass, which right now I think brass is somewhere around $1.75, $2 a pound, give or take.
Yep.
The rest of the box here is stuff that's been contaminated that has PVC on it, or that has a brass fixture but has an LED or a light bulb in the middle with also might have some steel.
Right. So this is dirty brass.
This is dirty brass right here. We call this irony brass, and it gets shipped out as is because a lot of the stuff that's in here wouldn't be worth the time to clean it to make it more. Okay. I mean, there might be some pieces that get stuck in there, you know, take the steel piece off the top there. That's good clean yellow brass. These here are electrical motors. These are good quality motors, most of which come out of old AC units or other kind of
pool pumps, things
pool
like that?
pumps, such like that. These have the higher value out of some of the other motors because they're more of a copper content on the interior of them.
Okay.
So, as opposed to a motor like one of the ones over there that's a fan blade and all that attached to it, now you're adding the weight of the aluminum, you're adding the extra weight of the steel. The copper content goes down because you've added more material to it.
So this
These
is
all
all
kind of
the
just
same.
fall into the same category.
All right.
They're all what we call small motors or high yield motors. Here's your pool pump and stuff like that. You'll get some every now and then that has the exterior piece attached to it. And it's just plastic or casted aluminum, and that would go with a different commodity because it's more weight for less quality.
So this has a different value than pool pumps then?
No,
Because
it all does. It's just there's always going to be things that slip through the cracks. You know, I can send you 10,000 pounds of something, and most places allow a 2, 3, 4% contamination because nobody's perfect.
Because human beings.
Exactly.
So this is all the same thing again.
These are all the same thing. Those are electrical ballasts. Kind of the same situation. There's little transformers on the inside, but due to the steel and due to the plastic on the exterior, there's not a lot of value in it, but it is a recyclable material.
Okay. So these are compressors.
These are compressors or sealed units. They basically come out of anything that has to do with refrigeration.
So what's inside of those? Is there copper in there?
There is similar to a ballast and a small motor on the inside, a transformer.
Yeah.
The opportunity to take that out of that is very difficult. It's going to be very low, plus you're losing all the weight of the steel, and a lot of them possibly still have some oil on the inside from when it was cycling through when it was doing its refrigeration.
So it makes it really messy too.
It makes
so
it
it's not
messy.
worth doing then, probably. Not
Some
worth doing.
people, as I always tell people, it depends on what you value your time at.
Right.
You know, if you don't have anything else to do and you want to spend some time doing some stuff for a few extra bucks, this right here is your bare copper, as they call bright and shiny, or bare bright. It is wire that has been stripped, so that way there's no other insulation, there's no contamination, there's no steel. It is definitely of a brighter commodity. Obviously you get some in there that's slightly tarnished and been used. Again, you're allowed a little bit of contamination on the inside.
So what is bare bright? What would it go for today? Just off the top of your head, because it's kind of high right now,
We
right?
purchased it probably somewhere around $3 to $3.25, and would sell it anywhere possibly between $4 to $4.50, depending on the market. For those who have done all the work and have made it clean or bring in more volume, there's wiggle room for pricing. Pricing can go up, etc.
So all of this down through here is all bare bright.
Correct.
All right. So what is this here?
Those are what we're calling now as copper radiators. Sometime in the last year or so, a lot of the international people decided that even though all the fins are copper and the interior is copper, which we used to be able to sell as a number 2 copper, cannot go like that anymore. So now it goes to what they call a number 3 copper, and it has a little bit lesser value, about 10 or 15 cents lower, 20 cents lower, depending on where the market sits. And they have to go to a special vendor these days because some of the guys they don't like.
They don't want to deal with whatever they got to deal with.
This is a already gone through, already prepped box. This is what we call yellow brass, clean yellow brass. You won't find any contamination on anything. Some international vendors, what they call this as honey. So it's clean yellow, no contamination, nothing in there whatsoever. Pure.
And so this is brass too then?
Yes, it is.
Yeah, look at that. I know. Yep. So these are probably silver plated, but they're brass
Silver
inside.
or nickel plated, kind of like bull shows are nickel plated.
Yeah.
They're same thing. It has a coating on it, but it is brass on the interior. This is what we call zinc.
Zinc.
Zinc has a very low value, but it's very easy to reproduce, very easy to mold, very easy to manufacture.
I see.
Your giveaway for the most part is anything that has to do with the ceiling fans.
Yeah. So this is zinc and not brass.
Correct.
Wow, I would have thought that was brass.
Usually,
it's heavy too.
There's other factors that go into it, but a big factor you can do is if you go to crush it and break it, brass won't crumble like that.
Ah, I see.
Also, if you look on the interior of a lot of things in the bottom, it looks kind of like rough like that. Most brass pieces won't end up like that.
They want to be shiny on the inside and the outside.
If it's polished on the inside, it's generally always brass. If it's not, there's a good opportunity that it's mainly zinc. It's not worth your time. This is casted aluminum that has contamination on the inside, so we would do this as like an irony cast or an irony breakage. Has its own separate price, and then it goes somewhere and it gets chopped up and paid out based on how much aluminum they can recover.
So what a cast engine would that be in the same bin?
Yes,
a
it would
cast
be.
Engine,
A
like
cast
a motorcycle
engine, like a motorcycle engine or a weed eater engine, blower
it still
engine.
has metal
Correct.
stuff inside of it.
Correct, yes.
Okay. So
Right,
this is cast and this has got a bearing in it.
Correct. That one actually could go in the clean bin because, again, you're allowed a small percentage, so that wouldn't make a difference. That could go with the clean stuff, but the rest of the stuff is here is dirty, yes.
So this is some really big copper here.
Yes, large pieces of copper, stuff that's, you know, waiting to get sent out, might have some contamination on it based on like
that
see it has some scum and some buildup on the inside. If it has a lot of that, it has to wait to get sold to a special person because a lot of places won't want that because who you sell it to would require more work to clean it and melt it.
It's just regular metal then, right?
Regular metal. It looks like this one probably was something that had to do with some kind of heating element, so there's probably a nickel content in it, so it has a different value. Some places won't take it. Or it might be a copper nickel, which is a completely separate commodity, but like I said, it has a nickel content, so it's meant for heating elements and heating purposes, etc.
Boy, there's a lot of different types of metal. It's incredible.
Yes, there is. These are the box that we call small batteries. Obviously, for the purposes, they're just smaller. For the most part, batteries and auto batteries, golf cart batteries, stuff, they go on a pallet. They're larger. They get wrapped up and sent as is. These smaller ones are more difficult to handle and deal with, so they just go in a box like this and shipped out.
So what happens to them? Do they mulch them up too, or do you have any idea?
I'm not quite sure what the procedure is to the batteries when it happens. I know there's acid involved in the inside of that, so I don't know if it just gets melted or if it gets chopped or how the procedure works, but every industry is a little different
So
as
you
far
pretty
as how
much,
they recycle it.
whatever it is, you just separate it out. So these are all batteries again.
Yep.
What if they were lithium batteries? Is that a
Lithium
different
batteries,
thing?
we do not accept. They unfortunately are highly flammable, cause fires. If you've ever seen any of the issues on the news of like these scrapyards, these large places that catch on fire and stuff, 9 times out of 10 it's because a lithium battery touched something they shouldn't have touched or scraped something they shouldn't have scraped and started to smolder. And
you know, I made a mistake once. We got a what was that, iPad, and I hit it with a sledgehammer just for fun. Dude, it got so hot when I picked it up. No, we went and threw it in a can in case it caught on fire. They were like, it's going to catch on fire. Somebody was watching the live and said, dude, you're going to blow up. You're going to blow yourself up. I've been dealing with these Apple products for years, and there's only one thing to do with a password protected Apple gadget. There's only one thing to do with it. All right, there you go. Another satisfied customer. Dude, that's hot.
These are nickel heating elements that have a steel contamination on the inside. So these come out of basically anything that has to do with heating or cooling. And instead of being cleaned by having the nickel removed, like so, it just has a contamination in it, so it's less value.
All right. This is copper again. These are inner windings of motors?
Yep, these are the inner windings of motors and stuff like that. Basically, there's an actual machine that goes through that can grab it like that and separate it, and it just cuts it and it pulls it apart, and this is that.
So what does something like that go for?
So this would go as a number 3 copper, because there is contamination with the insulation and all like that on there, so it's not just pure copper with solder on it. So it would be anywhere between $275, $325 a pound, give or take.
$275?
$275 to $325 a pound.
That's not terrible.
No, it's still good, still high value.
All right, so these are ballasts again, right?
Yes, sir.
Now we couldn't get close to the ones before. These are ballasts. They go inside of the fluorescent tubes mainly. They probably go in other things. They kickstart the power, right?
Correct.
So it ramps up the power, and these actually have something inside of them too, don't they?
There's like a little transformer on the inside that helps with the actual electricity aspect of it.
So what does something like that run?
Anywhere between 8 to 12 cents a pound.
So these are dirty then too?
Ballasts are just ballasts. They don't.
Ballasts are ballasts.
These are actually would be considered possibly a higher value because there is wire on them, but it's not worth the hourly for someone to come by and cut the cords off of them.
And these are the ends of
These are the ends of the motors after they got cut up. These are just clean casted aluminum.
All right, clean because the bearings are very small. All right, is that copper back there?
Yes, this is copper rack here. Like this piece here, see how it's coated?
Yeah.
It's a bus bar. for
really
electricians and stuff like that. It is copper based, has a coating on the outside.
So this is number 1, number 2?
With the coating on the exterior would be number 2. But for the most part, the rest of it's all number 1. That's probably something that someone just did like that, they'll put it on the inside and contaminate it.
Okay.
But
all right. So are there any other different styles of stuff that you recycle that's out here? Maybe the radiators?
Oh yeah, absolutely. Let's take a walk. This is basically the same thing as we saw earlier. This is the EC wire. This is your clean aluminum wire. No steel ground wire in the middle. This one here is going to be your, what we call insulated aluminum wire. So this is the aluminum wire that still has a jacket on it.
Okay.
It has its own commodity. When it comes in things that are obviously larger, like more this size,
right,
it is feasible to want to take the stripping off of it to make the more money. But for the most part, aluminum wire has a jacket on it, has its own separate commodity. Obviously aluminum cans.
Okay, how many times can an aluminum can get recycled?
I don't think there's a limit to it. This is stainless steel. Stainless steel, the value is in the stuff that is non-magnetic. Magnetic stuff, stainless, such as refrigerators and such like that, just go with the steel in the steel pile as tin or shred or.
And then these are just regular radiators?
This particular one is for dirty radiators. As you can tell, here's a aluminum car radiator. It is all solid aluminum except for obviously the pieces of plastic on the exterior like that. They'll have someone that'll cut it and do something with that, and then you have your other pieces that are like your copper aluminum that came from either a pool heater or an AC company or AC inside of a house. This one looks like it came off the beach.
Yeah.
It has some nice little.
So this is an A coil that comes out of the inside of an AC unit, the upper unit?
Looks like it came out of someone's air handler. You can tell it has some growth.
Why are these all in the same bin? Is this going to get
Because the stuff that's in here is something that we're going to actually take the time to clean.
I see.
Right.
So this is like work in progress.
This is something that got purchased at a lower price because the consumer didn't want to clean it themselves. So we pay less money for it, so we will have someone that go through and will cut it. We have the tools to make it quick and
it's worthwhile.
It is. It is. Something like this here, dirty, we'd probably pay 15, 20 cents for. The clean one we pay somewhere probably around 40 cents for, and we'll sell it somewhere around 50 or 60, depends. This really depends on the market, honestly. I mean, there's value in everything, but like any business, everyone's got to make some money somewhere.
So is there anything that we didn't look at that you guys take
got
in?
Aluminum rims over here.
Because we get a lot of those in the year.
Oh, I'm sure. Chrome rims, and then there's just aluminum rims and such like that. The chrome rims have a lesser value. There is a small steel band for stability that's inside there. I don't see any of these that are actually chrome, so I can't show you at the moment, but for the most part. And then obviously, you see the one right there has some lead on it and such like that. If there's any lead on them or any valve stems that are on them, they are considered dirty. Okay. There's a slightly lesser value. And then they just get put in a container and sent to someone who melts it down and sells the aluminum as a melted product to remake somewhere else. So this over here is more what they call fabricated aluminum, stuff like that that's bigger, that's actually been put to make something. Obviously here you have like your diamond plates, a little thicker, more structural stuff, bolt lift stuff, heavier duty, heavier quality. It's over here also at different alloys, you know.
Looks like somebody cut up an aluminum ramp.
Look at a ramp of some sort, yes.
Yeah.
You get a lot of that, unfortunately.
What a shame.
There's a lot of stuff in here that could have been resale. If you have the means and the opportunity and all like that to resell, it's definitely a high value. But this is like we were talking about, has the dirty aluminum and stuff like that, where it's mainly got a cast aluminum but has contamination on the inside and stuff like that. This is what they call an irony cast or an irony breakage.
Okay.
This here is going to be stuff that someone's taken the time to clean, so it's just clean casted aluminum.
These look like off of boats.
Correct.
Yeah, wow. Heavy, heavy, heavy. So that's clean.
That is clean.
Heavier aluminum.
Yeah. Casted.
Casted aluminum.
These are your AC radiators, copper aluminum radiators. Obviously, you got small pieces that come out of appliances. There are radiators inside of appliances and such like that.
A lot of work to get that stuff out.
Oh, yes. These are your clean aluminum ones out of an AC, etc., out of vehicles and such like that. These are all clean. Here's your clean extruded aluminum. This is going to be anything like, for the most part, this looks like pool cage stuff. So
right here, clean extruded aluminum. Doesn't have any screws on it.
No screws, no spline, minimal painting, no other contamination of any sort, and is very difficult to bend with your bare hands.
Okay, so something like this, what would this be worth clean and dirty?
Right now, anywhere between 60 to 70 cents a pound for clean. Dirty puts you somewhere between 40 to 50, 55, give or take.
Oh, so it's not that big of a difference, really. If you
No,
think about
there's
the
really not.
amount of time it takes to do it.
There's really not. Now, obviously, if it gets to be extremely dirty and stuff like that, that's when it falls into the other category over there, which then goes from like 12 cents to 60 cents. That's where the big jump comes in.
Okay, so what's that pile right there?
That pile over there is our steel pile or our shred pile or tin. So that's going to be anything that's magnetic. You know,
and then this
what the context
this
is.
pile right here is...
This is going to be our clean extruded aluminum, but it is pieces that came in that's longer. Come in from a company that, you know, bought a large bulk for something to make a product. And this is something that either got damaged in transit where they got credit for and then wanted to sell, or this was the surplus after their job was done. Anywhere from 16 to 24 feet long. So it comes through and has to get cut up and cleaned up.
What's he doing right here?
And this is my man here, Antonio. He is cutting up things that won't fit through our hydraulic shear or that won't fit through the saw. Basically things that are too big, too bulky, too heavy duty to fit through a baler to be compacted. Random things that come in that are like full out brass statues.
Yeah.
And I had a steel statue that looks like someone took time to make on their off time. It's a picture of a dragon.
Yeah.
Probably stood about 7-8 feet tall. Had wings go out about 4 feet wide, and I kept it around for 3 months. Notified the police in case they had any questions that came up stolen.
Yeah.
Nothing, but it was one of those things where it's just.
Did you end up scrapping it?
Oh yeah, it sat back there for a while. We tried to resell it, you know.
You should call me. I'll come get that stuff.
No, and now we might.
Well, I will, and then we'll sell it.
There's brass
Put it on
statues,
eBay.
same kind of situation, same kind of concept. You know, we notify the police that we have this, provide them with pictures and stuff like that. In case it does come up as a stolen item, they can contact us. We give them all the information they need and who brought it in, transactional, etc. And go from there. But there's definitely some questionable things that have come in.
Well, we got some.
We had an actual submarine that came in that somebody made themselves.
A submarine?
It was a mini sub. It was probably 10, 15, 18 feet long, by about 5 feet wide. Yeah, mini sub.
Did they actually use
made
it?
In his backyard, supposedly.
Oh my God, he's still alive.
I've never seen video.
He brought it to the scrapyard.
So you never know what you're gonna find.
We love that.
Oh, I bet you do.
Hey, can somebody check to see how far tailing is away? Okay, it looks like the guys are here. Let's go get them set up. So it worked out. The timing worked out perfectly because we were about an hour ahead of them trying to get this stuff done before the guys get here. So we got 2 trucks and a dump trailer.
So what did we make on this scrap trip? Tune in and find out.
There's about 300 pounds roughly of this. The weight on this bin's 1062. So, well, what's the grand total? Is it a Honda Accord or is it an Odyssey?
All right, so to be continued. We are going to bring you the actual unloading of this one and what we actually made off of it. So we'll see you on the next video.